They say the devil has no fixed address, but if you lived in Lagos, you knew exactly where she stayed. Number 9 Jalingo Street, a compound where grown men cried in their rooms and mothers whispered to their children to stay silent whenever a certain pair of heavy heels clicked against the pavement. This isn't a fairy tale. This is the raw, gritty reality of Chief Mrs. Faustina Bello, the woman the streets called the Iron Lady of Jalingo. She didn't just own the building, she owned the souls of everyone inside it. But today the thunder is finally meeting the mountain. Today, the woman who thought she was a god is about to find out that even gods can bleed. Chief Mrs. Faustina Bello was a woman of excess. Excess gold around her neck, excess fat in her bank account, and an excess of cruelty in her heart. She owned a 3-story complex in the heart of the city, 24 units filled with teachers, traders, and struggling graduates. Faustina didn't believe in grace periods. The 6 a.m. alarm. Every first of the month, she didn't send a text, she didn't knock, she used a heavy iron pipe to bang on the metal doors of her tenants. If you are still sleeping by this time, it means you have no plan to pay my money. Wake up and find my rent. The luxury tax. Last month, she increased the security fee because she bought a new German Shepherd. The dog didn't guard the tenants, it was trained to bark at them if they came home past 9 p.m. The hostage situation. When Nenkechi, a young nurse, missed her rent by 3 days because her mother was in the ICU, Faustina didn't listen. She waited for Nenkechi to go on a 12-hour shift, then she called a welder. They welded a metal bar across Nenkechi's door. All her belongings, her clothes, her certificates, her food were locked inside while she slept on the corridor for a week. The tenants lived like prisoners. They hated her, but they feared her more. She had the DPO, Divisional Police Officer, on speed dial. She had area boys on payroll. She was untouchable, or so she thought.
Everything changed on a Tuesday. A black SUV pulled up, not a flashy one, but a rugged, tinted glass Toyota. Out stepped a woman who looked like she was made of silk and granite. Her name was Enerti. She was young, maybe 28, dressed in a simple white linen suit. She didn't look like the typical struggling tenant of Jalingo Street. She walked straight to Faustina, who was busy shouting at the gateman. "I heard there's a vacant penthouse room," Enerti said. Her voice was like honey over broken glass, sweet but with a sharp edge. Faustina sized her up. She saw the designer watch. She saw the calm eyes. "That room is expensive," Faustina backed. "I don't take installments. I don't take stories. 1 year upfront, plus development levy, plus agreement fee." Enerti didn't blink. She opened a leather briefcase and counted out the cash. In the middle of the dusty yard, under the heat of the Lagos sun, she handed over the money. The other tenants watched from their windows, hearts heavy. They thought, "Poor girl, she has just paid to enter a lion's den."
Wait, before we get to the moment the Iron Lady met her match, are you enjoying this raw African story? If you've ever dealt with a wicked landlord or seen someone stand up to a bully, hit that subscribe button right now. Turn on the notification bell because you do not want to miss the ending of this sting operation. Drop a justice in the comments if you're ready for the tables to turn. For 2 months, Enerti was a ghost. She never complained about the leaking pipes. She never reacted when Faustina insulted the tenants. She just observed. She sat on her balcony, typing on a laptop, watching Faustina humiliate an old man, Baba Sigun, because his grandson accidentally kicked a ball against her car. Faustina took the ball and punctured it with a knife. "Next time I will puncture his legs," she screamed. But then the mistake happened. Faustina, feeling bored and powerful, decided she wanted the penthouse back to give to her nephew. She marched up to Enerti's door. No notice, no legal paper, just her iron pipe. Bam! 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 "Enerti, pack your bags. I'm doing renovation. You have 24 hours to leave." Enerti opened the door. She wasn't shaking. She was smiling. "Chief Mrs. Faustina, I have a signed lease for 12 months. I've only been here for 60 days. "I am the law in this house," Faustina roared. She lunged forward, grabbing Enerti's silk collar, ready to drag her out as she had done to so many others. That was the moment the world shifted. Enerti didn't pull away. She grabbed Faustina's wrist,
It wasn't a struggle, it was a lock. Faustina, a woman twice Enerti's size, found herself pinned against her own door frame. "You think because you pay the police, you are the law?" Enerti whispered. "You think because these people are poor, they are invisible?" Faustina screamed for her boys. 3 thugs rushed up the stairs, followed by the corrupt sergeant she kept on payroll. "Arrest her! She's attacking me! Kill her!" Faustina shrieked.
The sergeant pulled his handcuffs. "Young lady, you've made a big mistake. You are coming to the station for attempted murder." Enerti laughed. It was a cold, terrifying sound. She reached into her pocket and pulled out an ID card. But it wasn't just any ID. "I am Agent Enerti, lead investigator for the Special Task Force on Human Rights and Economic Extortion," she announced. She pointed to the smoke detector in the hallway. It wasn't a smoke detector. It was a high-definition 360-degree camera. She pointed to her button, another camera. "For 60 days, Chief Mrs. Faustina, I have recorded every slap, every illegal rent hike, every welded door, every bribe you handed to this sergeant standing right here." The sergeant's face went from black to ash gray. He tried to back away, but the sound of heavy boots filled the stairwell. A real tactical team, not the local boys Faustina fed, swarmed the building. They weren't there to protect the landlady. They were there to dismantle her empire.
The Iron Lady collapsed to her knees. The boys ran. The sergeant was handcuffed by his own colleagues. But Enerti wasn't done. She stood in the middle of the yard as the tenants poured out of their rooms. She handed a thick file to a lawyer who had just arrived. "This building is now under a court injunction," Enerti declared. "Every kobo of illegal rent, every levy taken under duress is being calculated. Chief Mrs. Faustina Bello, you aren't just going to jail for assault and corruption. You are being sued into poverty by every single person in this compound." This scene was chaotic. Faustina, the woman who once wore gold like armor, was being led away in a simple plastic pair of handcuffs, her wrapper dragging in the dirt she once made others kneel on. As she passed Baba Sigun, the old man she had bullied, she began to cry, real ugly tears of a bully who had finally run out of luck.
Enerti stayed for 1 more week. She didn't stay as an agent, she stayed as a neighbor. She helped organize the tenants' union. She made sure the new government-appointed receiver fixed the toilets and the roof. On the day she finally drove out in her black SUV, the entire street was lined with people. They didn't shout, they didn't cheer, they just stood in a respectful, powerful silence, a tribute to the woman who reminded them that no matter how dark the night, the morning always comes with a reckoning. Wickedness has an expiry date. Chief Mrs. Faustina thought she was the owner of Jalingo Street, but she was just a tenant in the house of karma. What would you have done if you were in Enerti's shoes? Would you have stayed quiet or risked it all to bring down a tyrant? Let me know in the comments. If this story gave you goosebumps, share it with someone who needs to know that justice is real. Don't forget to subscribe for more raw, realistic African tales. See you in the next one.